I'm Abby.
I'm Allie.
We're the Rannick Twins, and this is Oops, I ARTED, a part of the Hayden Collins Intelligence Syndicate.
Alright, Abby. So today we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about a series, a television show called Between the Lions.
Yeah, you told me on the last episode, you gave me a little teaser on what we were going to be talking about. I loved that show when I was young. I remember watching it. It feels like a fever dream almost.
Well, it gets weird. Let me tell you. You think it's weird, just the puppets and stuff. Looking at some of the segments are crazy, and we'll get into that. But I thought it'd be fun to explore the puppetry and animation of television since we've been doing a lot of art, music, writing, traditional.
Yes.
So here we go.
Also, just a side note, I teach, so my voice is gone, and it's also prime allergy season for me. So if I sound a little under the weather, I'm not. My voice is just gone.
Yeah, I'm a little stuffy too. You walked in and were like, why do we both sound like this? Anyways, bear with us. So let's get started, shall we? Alright, so let's start. We're gonna have to start and kind of like backtrack a little bit. But April 3rd in 2000, the show aired. Between the Lions, and it was basically a project to educate children on reading comprehension. So let's talk about Sesame Street for a second, which we could do a whole episode about.
Yes, I loved Sesame Street.
November 10th, 1969, Sesame Street was aired, and it was a phenomenon of children's television. I mean, it's still going today. I'm pretty sure one of the longest running child's daytime television shows of all time.
And didn't Sesame Street statistically show that it helped kids learn how to read?
So let's talk about that.
All this.
So Sesame Street was geared towards ages 2 to 5, and it was to teach letters and numbers.
Okay.
Between the Lions wanted to build off of that, so it was for ages 5 to 8.
Okay.
And it was teaching reading, like the long E sound in a word like T. That's not a long E, but...
like a long E, eh? I need to watch Between the Lions.
Anyways, I've been watching a lot of it. My brain isn't as malleable as a 5 to 8 year old. But anyways, let's just move on. So in the 1990s, they began working on the sequel to Teaching Reading based off of Sesame Street. And a lot of the people from Sesame Street worked on this project. And it took 10 years, basically, to get this thing aired because April 3rd, 2000 is when it aired.
So they started in 1990?
Season 1 alone took 6 years. So they started in 94. And guess how much it cost for the first season?
$5 million.
$30 million.
Oh my god.
Each episode was about $50,000. But it's because they had to bring in reading experts, people who know a lot about reading analysis.
Language analysis.
Yes.
They had to bring in puppetry, set design, all that kind of stuff. So that's really cool that they brought in experts and stuff, though.
They weren't playing around. They were trying really hard to teach kids how to read. So the show is live and animated. There are animated segments that we'll talk about later. And WGBH Boston was the one producing the show. And they are well known for Arthur and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
I love Arthur.
And Serious Thinking, along with Mississippi Public Broadcasting, helped produce and fund the show in the later seasons because it almost went off the air. Between the Lions, I love the title because it's 2 plays on words. So the first play is Read Between the Lines. And the second play on words is, in the library, they have 2 lions on the staircase. So you
walk between the lions to read. I didn't even think of that.
I know. I was really excited when I found that.
That just takes me back to the beginning of the show where they're both sitting on the pedestal.
Hey now. Hey wow. Yeah, I know like the whole theme song now. I'm not kidding y'all. I watched the show every night for the past 2 weeks trying to get information.
Look, when it's on, you're sitting in the hospital or whatever and you're flipping through the channels or whatever, I would stop and watch Between the Lions.
Yes. So, let's talk about some characters. I'm sure you don't remember any of them.
I don't remember their names.
So there's Theo and Cleo. Sorry. I always want to say Leo, even though the dad's name is Theo, like Theodore. But Cleo and Theo are the mom and dad, and they run the library. So they do most of the reading, most of the book pulling, and lesson teaching. And then there's Lionel and Leona, which are their son and daughter. The son is in 1st grade, and the daughter is 4.
Oh.
So you've got a good age gap of reading right there. And they're aspiring librarians. So they want to be just like mom and dad when they get older.
Of course.
And then there's Click the mouse. And
I remember the mouse. Oh my gosh, Click.
Yeah. So Click was kind of the bridge between internet and books. And she was also how they got into the books. Because spoiler, they go inside the books. And then now let's talk about the books. all of the books they read are real books in real life. You can buy these books. And so let's go over a couple of those. The Lion and Mouse by Aesop is one of them. The Fuzzy Wuzzy book, illustrated by Buffy Huckabuck.
We read Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. The Boy Who Cried Wolf by Aesop and Rumpelstiltskin by Raymond J. Haywire. Those are the books that I recognized. So there are 2 episode formats.
Wait. I have a question. So didn't they split this up into like different segments? I remember, and this might be a different show, but the Electric Company, is that part of Read Between the Lines?
It's similar, but it's not. I think that's Sesame Street. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Not part of Read Between the Lions, I repeat. But it's basically a skit show like SNL would be, except for kids and for reading.
And it's similar to Sesame Street in that sense.
Yes. And they did that because they did the studies with the reading, like the people they paid to teach them about reading, to teach kids about reading. They learned that art, music, funny how that works, art, music, skits, and like text, showing the text on the screen, all of those were helping developmentally because the songs are catchy. There was one called Sometimes Why. It's really good. Let's talk about the vowels.
So I just looked it up, and the Electric Company is its own thing.
There was a whole show of just 2 people.
Yes.
All right.
For some reason, I could have sworn that it was part of It's a Big, Big World or Read Between the Lions or Sesame Street, but it's its own thing. And it's been around since like the 70s.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up. So the show opens with the theme song Between the Lines by Cindy Mazzelli, which is a hit if you guys want to listen to it. Between the lines, between the curves I can sing it because it's on public broadcasting. So
we do not own the rights to this music.
Alright, so the opening scene is the theme song, and then Announcer Bunny pops out of a magic hat, and he says...
I bet you loved that.
Oh, it was awesome. He's got a deep voice, and he said, "If you like what you see, stay tuned for Read Between the Lions." And then he'll show like a clip of the show, which really hooks you in. But then the show splits into 2 themes. So there's the book, and the family uses a book to teach a lesson about a problem they're having. So for example, Theo was supposed to go play soccer with Lionel, but Theo had to watch the library because Cleo had to go help someone tutor. And they read a book called Pizza Pizza. Pete is a pizza.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I was thinking Little Caesars, like pizza, pizza.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point. It's like play on words. Pizza Pizza. And it talks about having fun in other ways without playing soccer. Mm-hmm. And another example would be last night, the episode I watched was all about writing letters. So it was all about Dear So-and-so.
And teaching you how to write a letter.
Yeah.
I feel like so many kids these days don't have any clue how
They can't even write an email.
No. I mean, yes, exactly. I work with people that don't even know how to, like, properly format an email.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
So there's that, and obviously these themes kind of mingle together, but there's the book, and then there's pronunciation and comprehension, which was centered around letter combos or word types like hip, ship, slip. Mm-hmm. So the IP noise at the end, or Y, so cry, shy.
Fly.
Yes. And all of these are broken up into skits. Very short skits, because kids have low attention spans. So let's talk about the skits. That's what I'm most excited about. Well, actually, hold on. Let me make sure I've gone over everything else. All the episodes featured short skits, music, art, pop culture, and performances. They were all used to stimulate and teach word format being used. That concludes...
Oh, yeah. She's using paper notes, by the way. Good ASMR.
I think that concludes the first part of this segment that I want to talk about. Because I want the whole second... This is a 2-parter, by the way, so you'll get ready. Buckle in. I want the whole second episode to be analysis on these crazy skits that they had.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and wrap this up. After 4 seasons, they almost discontinued it because it was really expensive, and PBS could only cover about a quarter of the costs for the production.
So who else covered it?
Mississippi State took charge and funded the show. Mississippi at the time had one of the lowest literacy rates.
Okay.
So I think that was really a good decision for them. And it helped benefit them because they relocated all of the recording and stuff to Mississippi, so they were able to bring the puppets to schools and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. That's very cool.
It was pretty cool. So it went on to have 10 seasons after Mississippi Public Broadcast took it, because it's a lower cost than it is to produce it in Chicago or New York, which they were producing it in Chicago and New York, so they having to fly back and forth and back and forth. Do you think they bought plane tickets for the puppets?
I don't know. It depends on whether or not they took up a seat. I hate to think of them like smushed up in a suitcase somewhere.
I wonder where they are now. But basically the show was a huge success. It was very effective. And I do want to add one more thing, because Sesame Street did just introduce a puppet with autism. Between the Lions introduced a character with a reading disorder in season 2.
Like dyslexia?
He had a learning disability.
Okay.
So I think he's a bunny, and he likes to jump, he's really athletic, and he just wasn't into reading. And I think it was an attention deficit kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's important to represent kids like that. Not every kid was like you and I, Allie. Not every kid had just like this insatiable hunger to read and devour books. So,
and that's what this show is about, was to teach the joy of reading as well. Reading is so much fun.
There's books out there for everybody.
They talk about how it's okay to be sad when something bad happens to your character in a book and stuff, to really get involved into the book, which I've cried a couple times since the Harry Potter series really threw me for a loop.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
All right, are we ready to talk about the skits?
I'm very ready.
Do you know what you're going to talk about next?
I do not. It's going to be a total surprise because I haven't even thought about it until this morning when I was like, man, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I only have like a week.
Well, but if you need an easy one, good old HST will always be there for you.
You can check us out on YouTube at Oops, I Arted. What is it? Google Play Music, iTunes, Spotify. We will begin posting our podcasts on YouTube again. If you would like to catch up to the newest episodes, they're on the Hayden Cullen radio program. You
probably 8 to 10 episodes behind on our YouTube channel, so I'm really sorry. We just keep going through all the effort of uploading them.
They will be up in, sometime. You can also email us at oopsiartedpod@gmail.com.
Heckle us about uploading the show. It'll give you some motivation.
Or just let us know if you have an idea of what we could record next, or if we said something that's totally wrong and it has angered you enough to write us an email. Just, go ahead and write us. Everybody have a good day, good week.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see y'all later.
Okay, I love the skits because a lot of them are a play on